So for those of you who don't know me, I am Mrs. Olette. Welcome. Today we have Rachel and Miguel here from, like I said, the U.S. Small Business Administration. They're here to talk to you guys just about being entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and some things that you guys can do with that. So I'm going to hand it over to Rachel.
All right. How many people are familiar with the SBA? Anybody? Couple, okay. How many people are familiar with anyone that has their own business? Family member or friend? Okay, a lot more. So again, my name is Rachel, this is Miguel, and we work for a federal agency called the Small Business Administration. We're going to go through some of the programs and resources that are made available to small businesses through the SBA, but just keep in mind that our programs are there for people that have all the way from just having an idea about a business and wanting to kind of explore it and see what's involved in starting their own business, up to, through the whole life of small business, even to the point where they're ready to sell their business and move on to something else. So we have programs that can help kind of with all of those different things. So I'm going to turn it over to Miguel to get started on things, but we want to keep it interactive. So if you have any questions or you don't understand anything as we go through, just feel free to interrupt us and ask anything that you want. Okay? Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending today. Miguel Morales with the Small Business Administration. Been with this agency for about 30 years. It's loud. Okay. So I help a lot of young entrepreneurs that's looking to start a business, maybe start a business in 10, 20 years from now or 2 years from now, but use our resources. And this is what we're going to go with the resources that provided for you guys and for small business owners. And it's free and it's confidential for the lifetime of your business. So we help people start, grow, expand, and recovery. So recovery, we're dealing with disaster also. So our partners, they're all SBA funded through SBA. We do a lot of funding. That's all. Everybody looks at the Small Business Administration just for funding, and that's it. There are so much programs out there that you could take advantage of. We have 1,400 partners, resource partners, throughout the United States. So if you're ever thinking of doing a business in Hawaii or Guam, we have partners out there too, or out in the Virgin Islands. Finding your local resources, we'll go through that. Every state has a local resource with our partners and also with SBA. This is one of our resource partners, SCORE. They're all men and women business owners. They started businesses, they failed businesses, and they started back up again. So they learned, starting up their business. They're also free for the lifetime of your business. Any business issues that you have, they're there to help you. So if you need help with a business plan, they could help you with that. If you need help on marketing or advertising, they could help you with that. Again, these are all business owners. If I was going to start a certain industry, don't want somebody just for restaurants, they'll find me somebody that's familiar with restaurants. And I will sit down with that counselor or mentor for the lifetime of my business. So again, any issues that ever comes up, they're there for you. And again, it's free and it's confidential for the lifetime of your business. A lot of online workshops they have, you could definitely take advantage of. Those workshops are 24/7. So scorenh.org, that's their website. The other one is the Small Business Development Centers. They work out of the universities out of those states. They're also free and confidential for the business, for your lifetime of your business. They're business advisors. They could also get technical into your business. So if you're looking to do like environmental stuff, they could actually get you somebody that's familiar with environmental. Again, there's a lot of free online courses that you could take. One of the courses here that I like from them is on their website, is starting a business in the state of New Hampshire. So if you take that workshop, that webinar there, it's basically, where do I register my name? Where do I get my EIN number? What do I need to get a loan? So it goes through all that. Right now, they haven't done personal trainings, but they've actually been doing a lot of online trainings. The Center for Business and Enterprise, the Women's Business Center. Another great resource to have, all right? You do not have to be a woman to order to use the Center for Women in Business, okay? You could use all 3 of these resource partners, and they're free and confidential for the lifetime of your business. The Women's Business Center, the reason why they were created is because back in the days, the leveling field wasn't that great for women entrepreneurs. So we have the Center for Women in Enterprise. They're located out of Manchester. Again, all these resource partners out through the United States. So if you're going to do business in Massachusetts or California, you could actually talk to those counselors out there if you're ever thinking of starting a business out there. A lot of online courses they do. Business advice. If you need a business plan, any of these partners could actually help you with it. Because if you walk into a lending institute and say, hey, I need a loan for my business, the first thing they're going to ask you, you got a business plan? And if you say no, they're going to refer you to come to us to see one of our resource partners. They'll help you with your business plans. What I like with SCORE, they do a lot of great workshops also. Actually, any of these partners, they'll sit down with you with your business plan. They're going to cross the T's, dot the I's, tell you what they like and what they don't like in it. So they're going to act like they're the lending institute. So that way, when you sit down at these lending institutes, you're going to be a little bit more comfortable talking to these commercial loan officers. VBOC, the Veterans Business Outreach Center. So I'm also the veterans officer for the whole state, for the small business side. So I help a lot of veterans and spouses that's looking to start or expand their business. The VBOC, when I first started with this agency 30 years ago, there was only probably 15. We have 22 now throughout the United States. We have one that's out of Rhode Island that covers the whole New England area. So again, they also do training just like the rest of the partners do. So if you're a veteran or a spouse, you could use the VBOC and the other 3 resource partners. What's great about these partners too, so if you're doing a business plan, some of them would actually go with you to that lending institute. They could tell you which lender to go to, because every lender is different out there. Some lenders don't want to deal with a retail, some lenders don't want to deal with a restaurant or a hospitality. So every lender is going to be different out there. So we are our world's largest consumers for government contracting. The government buys everything and anything, whether it's a product or service. And you're thinking, like, anybody have an idea like what we might buy? Come on, one of you guys will. Go ahead.
I want to go buy an ice cream.
For government contracting?
So you're saying it's worth the finance for ice cream machine?
You want to finance an ice cream machine?
I thought you were asking what we would like to buy.
No, what would the government? The government buys everything and anything from small businesses. What do you think what the government would actually buy from you as a product or a service?
I haven't figured it out.
Okay. So one of the deals is we have a place in Keene that makes cribs. Bobby, we buy that because there's a lot of facilities out there on the federal side and the military side are doing daycares. So we'll do something like that. Anything else you could think of?
I think the point is that, sorry, is this working? I think on the government contracting side, the point I think that we're trying to make is the government will buy different products and services that you may not think. Everyone thinks of the government and you're going to buy, like, Department of Defense will buy military things to support the military, but they also have a lot of goods and services that they buy. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for small businesses because of that. And the government has goals that they have to do so much business with small businesses and some of the other categories. So it's just another kind of opportunity for businesses to look at when you're thinking about government contracting as the government as a customer for a small business. And there's resources out there that can help you figure out which agency might buy your product or service as a business owner, and we can help you kind of figure that out and get in touch with those resource partners that can help with that. To your point, though, on if you were looking to start an ice cream business and you wanted to finance a machine to be able to do that and have your own business, the first step you would probably do is if you reached out to our offices, we'd have you work with one of the partners that Miguel just talked about and write a business plan, because you're going to want to know, how much does it cost to start an ice cream business? How much money will you need out of your own pocket versus how much you can finance through a bank or a credit union? So these are all of the things that you want to keep in mind. And then who is your competition? How much are you going to have to charge for your ice cream to be able to make a profit? All of those types of things is what our partners work with people every day to figure out. And they work with people all the way from just having an idea like, oh, I've been thinking about doing this for a small business, and I want to kind of work through that process to figure out, is this something that's feasible for me, or what do I need to how much money do I need to save to be able to start this business? Most times a lender's not going to give you all the money you need to get started, but they'll give you a good portion of it. You might need like 20% of your own money to put into it, and then you could get the loan for the remaining part of it. But that's all things that go into your business plan, and that's why it's really important to do business planning, and that's why we have these resource partners that SBA supports. So we're a federal agency. We give money to these different partners so that they provide the one-on-one business advice basically to people that are looking to get started or already in business to work through any issues that they might have. Does that make sense? Great.
The other thing with these partners, we're very strict on research. When you're starting a business, you got to do your research. What market do you want to hit? If you're doing something out of Portsmouth, how far do you want to go with that business? Do you want to go into Manchester only, or do you want to go out to California, or do you want to go around the world? You got to do your market research. What income level of people do you want to hit? How much you're going to sell your product? And again, these resource partners are fantastic with us when it comes down to it. On government contract in last year, 2021, this is just in New Hampshire alone. All right, just for small business, $452.7 million just in New Hampshire for small businesses. And it breaks down to the veteran-owned businesses, service-disabled veteran-owned businesses, women, small disadvantaged firms, HUBZones, and 8As. So does anyone here know what a HUBZone is? You think I should get into that? No, probably wait. Yeah, that's too early for you, too early in the stage. But there's a lot of different programs out there that if you're looking in the future of starting a business, reach out to us when you're ready to start. We could actually help with it. This is where I'm going to leave this up to you.
Just to wrap up on the government contracting side of things, all of those programs just give people just additional opportunities to get government contracts if you happen to meet one of those criteria. So if you're a woman-owned business or you're a veteran-owned business, the HUBZone program is you have a business area, maybe it has high unemployment or low income area. Businesses that go into those areas, it allows them to get a certification so that they have a better access to federal contracts, basically, is what all those different other categories are. So we can help people figure out if they're eligible for that and how to take advantage of that. Did you have a question?
I wanted to know what those HUBZones are.
Oh, so the HUBZones are just the areas that are identified as, it stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. So it's a mouthful to say it's really an area of the state or the country that is, either low income, high unemployment, or needs some economic development. So they encourage businesses to locate in those areas and employ people from those areas. And they do that by giving them advantages to get government contracts over other people. Make sense? Sure. Yeah, definitely. So this goes into a little bit more detail on the SBA-backed loans. So most of our loan programs are done through partners. So we partner with banks and credit unions throughout the state. We have usually about 80 different lenders in New Hampshire that signed up to do SBA loans. So if somebody is looking for financing and they go in and present their business plan to a loan officer at their bank, If it's something that the bank is comfortable on their own, they'll go ahead and do it on their own. If it's something that they think is a great idea, but maybe it's a brand new business or it lacks something where they can do it on their own, then they'll ask the SBA to back it up with a guarantee. So we almost act like, has anyone applied for credit anywhere, like anything where you needed a cosigner for something? Okay, a couple people. So almost the SBA kind of acts as a cosigner on a loan. So if you have a great idea and the lender believes in your business plan and all that, and they want to give you the loan, but they're like, you don't have enough credit yet, you're too new in business, you need kind of something to back this up, that's where the SBA comes in, kind of like a parent would, to co-sign that first loan for a business. So that's pretty much how it works. We can lend, our programs are basically available for any business purpose. So from starting a business to buying that, ice cream machine to get going in your new business, all the way up to people that might have been in business for a long time that want to buy a new piece of equipment or buy the real estate that they've been leasing. We kind of have programs that fit in all of those different categories. And again, we're there to help lenders get from I'd like to do this but can't do it on my own to a yes. So we kind of bridge that gap. We also have other products that the banks can use. One's kind of works like a credit card, so it's called a line of credit, and it's basically like a credit card. So we'll say, we'll give this business $50,000 line of credit. They can use it to buy, say if it's a retail spot or something, and they want to buy inventory for the summer season, if they're a seasonal business, they can use that money to buy the t-shirts and all of the stuff that they want to put in their store with that. And then once they start selling it, then they would pay down that line of credit, and then it would be available for the next time they need to buy inventory. Mrs. Olette said there was someone that ran like a store. You guys had a store here, so it's similar to what you would need for the store if you needed to put money up front to buy inventory to sell, and then once you sell the stuff, then you would pay down the financing and keep the profits back in the business.
That question, I don't know if I missed this, you can walk in that later.
Yeah.
Get to it later, but have you seen a trend or do you have any data on like any emerging industries or partnerships that you're seeing with small business owners for the last 5, 10 years, or maybe where we're going in terms of the economy?
That's an interesting question. We deal with just a lot of different varieties. I'm trying to think if anything really stands out. I mean, definitely biotech is an industry that I think New Hampshire is trying to get more involved in. We were out in the Keene area and they had a company that was coming in there to bring biotech they have like an incentive to trying to get it going over in that area. I think definitely Manchester area with the whole Army project that's going on there is bringing in like high-tech type of companies in that. So I think people are in tune to that. We are also seeing a lot of like older people that are looking to transition from their businesses because a lot of baby boomers are looking to sell their businesses. So there's a lot of transactions that we're seeing of younger people buying existing businesses. So if that helps. So this is all on just being prepared. So if you have an idea, definitely all the way down from the first idea stage, you can reach out to our resource partners. You can either go online to a lot of the classes that Miguel had talked about with SCORE and the Small Business Development Center. They have Small Business Development Center has a whole e-learning page that's available to anybody. And it talks about starting a business in New Hampshire. It has, I think there's like 40 different classes. It has stuff on social media, e-commerce, financing a business in New Hampshire, all different webinars that you can kind of go through at your own pace, at your own time. But there's a lot of things that talk about doing business plans. So all of this, when you go in to talk with a lender, they're going to want to see all this information, a business plan, what your expenses are going to be, what your projections are going to be. So when you have this and you work with our partners, one of the things that they're going to help you figure out is, what do you expect your revenues? Like if you're going to be located at such and such a location, what is the expectation of how much business you're going to have every day? And then that translates into how much a month and how much a year. And the lender wants to see that so that they make sure that they're giving you a loan that you're able to pay back. Everyone wants repayment ability, which means they want the business to show that they are making enough money to make that monthly payment every month. Same idea when you go to buy your first car or you have a gas card or whatever, they're going to look at what kind of income you have and what are your expenses, and they want your income to be more than your expenses so that you're able to pay that money back. The SBA has a tool for people that don't have existing banking relationships. So a lot of times if you're looking for an SBA loan and you have a bank that you already deal with or a credit union, we always say go to the person that knows you. It's always the easiest one to try to start with. But if you don't have that existing banking relationship, there's a program called Lender Match where you can go in and you can do a little synopsis of what you're looking for, how much money, what you're going to use it for. Again, our partners can help you figure that out if you don't know how to figure out how much exactly you're going to need to borrow to do what you want to do. But you can put it on this and it will go out to a bunch of lenders, and then you would get emails from lenders offering you, saying they're interested in talking to you more about your idea and want to offer you credit. So it's just like an electronic way to kind of put yourself out there and see what lender might be interested in your project that you want to complete. This again is kind of on the same idea as our government contracting, but we like to teach business owners how to explore new markets. So government contracting, if you have a product or service that the government buys, that could be another revenue stream, another customer for you to look at. The same with international trade. So if you have a product or service that another country might be interested in buying, we have programs that we work with the state of New Hampshire that can help you go through boot camp for exporting if it's all brand new to you. It can help you finance a trade show if you find a country that might be interested in your product or service to help you offset those costs. Translating a website into another language, all of those kinds of things. And again, that's just to support expanding the markets that small businesses are looking at for their customer base and giving them different revenues from different sources. So disaster assistance, we've done more disaster assistance since COVID hit than I've done in my entire career, which is a long time ago, sadly. But we did 41,000 loans just in New Hampshire to support small businesses, to keep people employed when the state was telling people they had to shut down. We have done direct loans, which we normally don't do. Usually all of our loans go through banks, but we've done a lot of direct lending through our disaster program to give small businesses working capital just to keep paying the rent, paying the payroll, keeping the lights on, so to speak, through COVID and all of the restrictions that business owners have had. So it's been a tough couple of years for small business owners, and SBA has, just in New Hampshire alone, has put $5 billion into New Hampshire small businesses to help support that effort. So that's why I look so tired. But we also, this is the one program too, SBA Disaster Assistance, where we can help homeowners. So if there is a natural disaster, luckily around here we don't have too many natural disasters, but in other parts of the country, when there's tornadoes, hurricanes, all of that causes damage to businesses and homeowners, SBA can be there for these direct low interest rate loans that helps with any uninsured losses. So if you don't have insurance, or after insurance, there's still things that need to be fixed or repaired, the SBA comes in with these direct loans that are like a 30-year term, really favorable interest rate to help people get back on their feet. And that just tells all of the different things that we can help with damage, if there's damage to real estate, personal property, machinery, equipment. Most of what we've been doing lately is economic injury. So COVID caused a lot of small businesses to have an economic injury, meaning they weren't able to stay open. A lot of businesses had to close. There was a lot of people that were struggling with not making the money that they normally were used to pay their bills. So SBA came in with some direct lending to help offset that. And then we're in New Hampshire, so our website, sba.gov/nh, and then we have our email address there. We are an office in New Hampshire, but SBA has an office in every state around the country. So, definitely if you're looking or thinking about small business ownership, or you have a small business person in your family or friend network that isn't aware of SBA, definitely have them reach out to us, because all of these services and resources are all available for free for people. We do charge on the lending side. You have to pay the loans back, but all of the kind of the support system for small businesses is all free of charge through the SBA, paying these people through grants that we provide to them. One other program I just want to mention quickly is the Community Navigator. So across the country, the SBA figured out that our regular network of resource partners wasn't reaching all the communities that we wanted to. So they just came up with a grant opportunity. So we have a Community Navigator grant in New Hampshire now, and they have a network of 10 different micro enterprise entities. So all of those are getting educated on SBA programs and resources. So if anybody goes into these smaller areas that weren't really partners of SBA's before, they will now be able to learn about the different programs and services and take advantage of the resources that we have to offer. Was that the end? Oh, we'll give it back.
Question for you guys. I went over the resource partners earlier. Do you guys know who they are? There's 4 of them. Just name one. SCORE. What else? Yep. 2 more. Veterans Business Outreach and the Small Business Development Center. Don't forget, they're there for the lifetime of your business. So they all have websites. We have websites with tons and tons of training programs that you could take that's 24/7. It could be marketing, advertising, and social media is like the biggest advertising out there to get your business up and growing. It's very important. It's amazing. From when I started with this agency, it was always paper, flyers, and everything else, but social media is taking it beyond, and it really, really helps your business, especially if you're especially donut shop and you only sell certain kinds of donuts. You're only open until like 10 o'clock. There's a place that's, I believe it's out west. They got a line that goes around their block. And on their social media, they'll tell them, okay, we ran out of these kind of donuts, and they'll leave because that's what they want. At 10 o'clock, they're done. The doors are shut. Want to touch more back on the government contracting. So if you're an electrician and you want to do government contracting, after being in business for about a year or 2, you could get into government contracting. The gentleman in Hope, he was in business for 6 years, and he didn't know what to do. He really didn't know what to do. He wanted to expand the business, told them about our resource partners and the government contract. And so the first year, he got a $30,000 contract. The third year was a $1 million contract. So he's got work from Rhode Island up to the Naval Shipyard, plus hired 5 new veterans for their business. So he actually expanded. After that, he took anything that we came through his way on special education programs. He took advantage of those programs, and it just kept moving on and moving on. I help a lot of veterans also on different projects. There's some projects that we're working on, and everything's like all confidential. So one of these is going to be really big. You guys might find out within a year or 2 what it's going to be. But it's fun working with people that start in the business or anybody that's in business, because there's so much information out there that take advantage of. Every city and town has an economic development. Utilize them. They're free. They might have incentives for you to start your business in that town. So be there. Anything you want to say? Or?
I was just curious if anybody has thought of owning their own business. Do we have anybody? Couple? What types of businesses, if you don't mind sharing? Oh, that's a good one. He said pressure washer business. That's a great one. So that probably wouldn't, because it's mobile, right? So it probably wouldn't require a big onset of, savings or whatever to get into something like that. But definitely something that you could utilize one of our partners to kind of walk through the idea of the startup costs and who your customers might be and kind of who your competition is and all of that, and how much money you would need to save up to help buy whatever equipment you need. So that's a great one. Anybody else? A restaurant? Okay. Yep. A lot of people definitely are, we have a lot of loans for restaurants for sure. So restaurants are definitely one that you want to make sure you reach out to partners and, you know, get your research done and your business plan in order, because that could be a tough business, but definitely, you know, something that can be, you know, like a lifestyle business for people that really like to cook and share that with people. So that's great.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
We just finished a class I had last quarter. I had this kid who was, I don't think he's here, Tommy, what, you didn't share your business plan? You didn't share your idea?
Oh, yeah, well, I said like it was like a flag football league for like adults.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's different. That's unique. You know, there's like so many businesses out there. If you could be different and unique, it's a good chance it's going to take off.
So this individual wanted
Yeah.
to start a mining company for titanium in space.
Oh, wow.
Maybe a couple years out, all right, but it was just a unique,
Yeah,
unique
absolutely.
idea, yeah.
Obviously, I'm a student, I just do want to comment that my son-in-law lives in Maine, and he used the SBA to set up the dog food business. They were making raw dog food that they'd ship out. He ships all over the country now, and had to expand and learn how to subcontract some of the packaging and everything. And again, he went to the SBA and they gave him a lot of help transitioning to that next level. He's been in Forbes magazine, all kinds of stuff. He's just a local guy, so this is
That's awesome.
the real deal.
The pet industry, it's amazing how much they've actually grown. When the economy first started tanking in 2007, 2008, the pet industry actually grew 63%. It's amazing what people will pay for their animals, whether it's a vet, a toy, or a doggy daycare, whatever it is. It's amazing how the pet industry has grown. There's two industries that actually change. Can anyone tell me about that? No, before COVID. Nope. You buy VH tapes anymore? Blockbusters went out. All right. What else changed? There was another industry that actually changed tremendously. What's that?
I think media went from TV to YouTube.
Yes.
Finance?
Finance, taxis. Taxis went out. You had Uber coming in. So when you're with the taxis, they had to get special permits and licenses. When Uber first came in and left, it changed the whole industry on them. It's just amazing watching an industry that's changing. So like every 10 years, keep an eye on the economy, where it's going. You know, because things are always constantly changing. And when it starts to change, this is where you might want to pivot your business and do something different. And still, you know, keep evolved. And again, this is where our resource partners will step in and actually help.
We were just at a meeting, now my microphone decides to work. We were just at a meeting this morning with some partners, and they were saying the whole Airbnb thing is really, you know, it's a challenge to people that were regularly in the hospitality and the lodging industry, trying to compete now with the Airbnb market. And then just the whole shift in COVID for restaurants in particular. I mean, there was all kinds of different changes that restaurants had to make to survive, right? We had outdoor dining. Now we have like all of these outdoor entertainment and dining centers all over the state. People really had to figure out delivery options. You know, people that were doing, that weren't doing delivery needed to get on board and do delivery because of the curbside pickup. I mean, all of these different things. So as a business owner, you have to be flexible and you have to pivot, because the companies that, you know, weren't able to do that in time really struggled, and some of them unfortunately had to close because they couldn't, you know, to get there to what they need to do. Yeah.
Are you guys pivoting and putting funding? I know you mentioned veteran project coming up the next year or two. Are you guys pivoting in the direction you're going to be sending money? Any particular way, or?
So a lot of the lending we were doing because of COVID is just kind of disaster assistance, so helping people with the working capital needs. But we mostly are looking at loans that come through banks. So we don't have certain like loans or things that we're looking at doing. Basically, if a person goes to a bank and then the bank can't do it on their own, then they come to the SBA. So we're looking at those kind of the gap financing between what the banks are willing to do on their own and the ones that are still, you know, good deals, but they don't fit all the criteria that the bank can do it individually without our guarantee. But we are seeing a ton of real estate transactions because of the low interest rates that are being offered now. A lot of people that were leasing their own space now are buying their space. So we normally would do like maybe 90 of these in New Hampshire a year, and last year we did 140, and we're on track to do probably close to 200 for this fiscal year. So that's a big uptick in that program that's primarily to purchase real estate.
If some of these students were going to college and wanted to buy like a duplex as like an investment, is that something you would help with or not really?
No, unfortunately, we consider that to be passive income. So what we could do is a lot of times people will buy something for their business and they'll have extra space that they can rent out. So as long as you are occupying at least 51% with your operating business, you could lease out some of it to help with your cash flow. Or sometimes you'll see like a convenience store that might have housing upstairs that you can rent out, something like that. As long as the operating business is occupying the majority of the space, then that's something we can do. But we can't just do like finance landlords to buy property, like that kind of thing.
The other thing too.
Good question, though.
If you're ever going to have partners in your business, and again, I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your best friend, your spouse, a partner's agreement. You always want to cover yourself. And the partner wants to cover themselves. It's very important to cover yourself with a partner's agreement. It's I've seen it done so many times without agreements, and the business will fail because one's want to do better than the other one's moonlighting from that business. So you want to be careful with that. Do a partner's agreement. Any questions?
My son has two friends that went into business with each other about a year ago, and they're definitely struggling now because they didn't have a partner's agreement in place, just figuring out someone feels like they're working more hours than the other person, or this one's taking Sundays off and I'm working Sundays, and all of those kinds of things that that come up. So it's, again, the great thing about the resource partners is that it provides business owners with like an independent kind of person to talk through some of these things. So if you have a partnership and you need to work out some of those things and you want like a neutral person to kind of figure that out, you could utilize our resource partners for that, and they could sit down and kind of work out whatever challenges you come across in your business. But partnerships are definitely tough.
I started my first business when I got right out of high school, 18 years old. I wanted to start a roofing business with my best friend, all right? And this is a true story. I went on vacation. I come back, everything's gone. And there was nothing I could do about it because I didn't know anything about registering my business, getting a partner's agreement, or anything. I ended up losing everything. So I learned from that. After that, my wife and I, we ran a daycare for 19 years, and that was very successful. So just from learning that, and I still use our partners, you know, even though I work for SBA, and they give so much great advice on that. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ouellette, for having us, and hopefully you guys got a little something out of this. And if you have anybody that you know that's looking to start a business, or already in business, please tell them to contact their local SBA office. There's a lot of resources that are out there that can really help them. And they say, small businesses, a lot of them fail in the first 5 years, but the ones that have these resources and utilize these resources have an 80% better chance of surviving than the ones that try to do it on their own. So, small businesses, I think in general, tend to be independent thinking and think they want to not do it all without any help. But utilizing these resources and this help really helps you be more successful and think of things that from another person's point of view that you might not have thought of. So appreciate everyone paying attention and, the questions and everything has been a lot of fun. So we hope to see you guys again. Thank you. Oh, yeah.